Good morning, and thank you for watching this week's episode, The Real Talks with Doc. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and turn on those post notifications. If you find this information, this content of being any value to your real estate, your development, your renovation, your general contractor, developer needs, please comment in the section below. We would love to hear from you. We love getting those messages. Kay, good morning to you.
Good morning. How's this going?
It is going fantabulous. Living a dream every single day.
What's some new projects you have going on?
Well, I seen some photos yesterday, Kay, of this big concrete job we're doing. 10-foot brick veneer, retaining wall, new driveway, with another 4-foot wall opposite of that. In Temple Hills, Maryland. Pretty big concrete job, a lot of brick work, and we completely demolished this area that had a wall that actually had collapsed because it wasn't properly footed correctly. So this time we have a 6-foot footer at the base to make sure we hold it in place. We have a lot of number 5 rebar going through it, 10-inch CMU block. So yeah, I sent photos of that so you can keep our followers and those that are looking to, find ways to better craft what they're doing in this concrete division that we have used to take over this project. Please have them look at those photos, have them reach out to us.
That's awesome. So with this project that you're working on, for those who are looking to upgrade their front curb appeal with driveways and different things like that, what are some things that you would suggest to look into before taking on a project like this?
What's always beautiful is the natural stone walls that you can do, whether you're doing a stone face or whether you're doing a natural stack with stone. Those always give great curb appeal, especially when you stack them correctly in their stack level. Doing that around flower beds, doing that around the bottom of hilly terrain really adds for a nice value, not only to, keep and retain, your grass or keep and retain your mulch and your flower beds and your flower, but it's just a beautiful thing to add to any hardscape when you're looking to add curb appeal to your house. Another thing we do is different topiaries, those bushes that look like those designer bushes that have like pom-poms, the swirls, those are really nice to add to any house. Hardscaping and landscaping, because they give just a beautiful, wonderful look to, the greenery in your yard. Another thing that you can do, believe it or not, is just power washing the house. Sometimes, your home is near different vegetation, different trees, and the chlorophyll off of those plants can actually transpose to the exterior surfaces of your home. So it looks like you have green stuff that's just splattered on your siding or just splattered on your brick. And, believe it or not, doing a good power washing really brings back the vitality and the vibrance of the home. That is always a good thing to do after the spring showers. And so these just clean your gutters. You also want to clean your gutters, make sure that, again, if you're near a lot of trees, you're going to have leaves, you're going to have debris, you're going to have twigs all in your gutter. And you want to keep those gutters clean and keep those gutters clear. So all these things add really great curb appeal to your home when you start thinking about how do you address and renovate those outdoor exterior features.
Okay, awesome. So for those who are looking to DIY certain projects like this, especially when it comes to pouring concrete, which I've seen before, like, why would you suggest having someone to professionally come in and do that?
Yeah, because there's a lot to that. I mean, number one, the demolition, you need heavy machinery and equipment. You're not just going to go in and take a shovel and demo a 4-inch slab in someone's driveway. More importantly, there are a set of plans from the structural engineer that informs you. And again, always pull your permits. It's the right thing to do. It keeps you out of trouble. It keeps you from getting stop work orders. It keeps you from getting fined for whatever municipality you're conducting that work in. So the structural engineer give you a detailed breakdown of what that execution of that driveway should look like. For instance, we went from a 4-inch driveway to a 6-inch driveway. Now that's 2 inches thicker. However, I just think, sometimes these structural engineers and what these county code requirements are asking is just overkill. We normally use the number 4 rebar. This project is asking for a number 5 rebar, which is a bigger rebar in diameter. So just making sure that your wire mesh is correct, your tie pattern is correct for your rebar spacing, making sure that you have the right amount of stone 57 aggregate as your base on before you pour that concrete with the right mil of vapor barrier. All of those things are important to make sure you execute correctly, because not only that, you want your driveway to last as long as possible. So when you execute with getting the detail correctly in the field as per approved by your plans and through the submittal of your structural engineer, it just makes for your project to be built the way it's supposed to be and for it to last the way it's supposed to last. So all of those things are important. Again, pull your permits, make sure you got a good team of structural engineers, MEP engineers, architects, so that they give you a good set of plans for your general contractor to execute in the field. That makes a big difference. And that'll keep you on the path of making sure that if you're not going to, do it yourself, that you got a blueprint to follow, or your general contractor have a blueprint to follow to make sure that the job is done correctly, especially with a project that size. You want to make sure it's done correctly.
So with us talking about outdoor appeal, let's talk about pools. I know T-Bowl has had some experience with building pools, and there may be somebody out there who wants that. So can you speak to that service that we provide?
So that's something that we don't do in-house, but we do install pools for clients working with an affiliated pool partner that we have a great working relationship with, MK Pools. I'm going to give them a shout out. They do a really great subcom pools. MK is the owner. I call them MK Pools. Subcom pools right here in the Virginia area, DC, Maryland area. They do a great job with working with our team. What we do is we do the decking around the pool. If you're going to use a travertine stone, we do the excavation for the piping. Especially if you have a pool heater, you got to do the trenching for the gas line. So we do a lot of support constructive services while they actually do the pool. That's a special skill, shooting that gunite, forming that pool, making sure that the tile is perfectly executed. So we work with them in providing a completion of an entire setup of pool. Even having a 6-foot fence around your pool, some counties require that. So all of those things we can install and execute on as ancillary services to the actual pool installer. So having a pool is really cool. Having a pool gives you an element of like being at a resort. A lot of people go to a resort, they have nice swimming pools. And having a pool in your yard also adds value to your home in many cities. Now, there's some controversy out there that pools can take away from the value of your home due to high insurance costs and, if the pool is not well maintained. But overall, historically speaking, when you look at the data, pools actually do add a value and a surplus to your home, the outsell of your home. So we like pools. We've probably done about 4 pools. We're actually, the home that we're doing now in McLean has a swimming pool. Not only does it have a swimming pool, it has a pool house. So there's a lot of coordination we had to do to make that work, because the swimming pool sits between the back of the house and in front of the pool house, which is really cool once this thing is pulled off. So yeah, okay, we like doing pools. The biggest thing is having a 3D rendering of what your final project is going to look like, so you can visually see it from the start. We've had situations where we've come in to consult clients, and just, after the fact, when they want to do some additional things or change some things around after they've had a pool installed, they 100% of the time, they never had that full visual image of how everything was going to look like in putting the pool in their rear yard or side yard in some instances.
So for those who want to get a pool built, what are some things that they need to prepare their land or their home for in order to get it installed?
Well, I would say do a 3-bid process. First of all, you want to do your due diligence on the features that you want from your pool. On your pool, do you want a jacuzzi, hot tub? Do you want scuppers? Do you want it to be an 8.5-foot pool? That, there has to be a certain depth. If you want a diving bowl on your pool, do you want a slide on your pool? Do you want any stonework incorporated in your pool? Pools can become very elaborate and very expensive. First question you probably ask, well, how much does a basic pool start off with? Well, you can get a fiberglass installed pool for less than $30,000. Do the research. Now, when you start getting into these plaster pools and these naturally formed pools, or I shouldn't say naturally formed pools, these man-made formed pools based on the design that you want, those pools can really get expensive. They can start anywhere from $90,000, and I've seen them as expensive. I mean, they got a pool show where all they do is go around and make crazy pools, to as high as, yes, $1 million pool in someone's backyard. Seen it on the show. Go look at it. What's it called? Super pools or something like that, or extreme pools? You've seen that show, okay? Hadn't you? No? Never seen that show? Well, look at the pool show. Those pools get dumb ridiculous with all that you can do for a pool. So number one, do your homework. Know what you want in the pool. Number two, know your budget once you've done your homework. Actually, you should know your budget before you start getting into that so you don't exceed your budget. And then number three, go out and vet 3 good, competent pool contractors. And then that's the first 1, 2, 3 step to get started. Simple.
So can any piece of land have a pool in it, or is it determined by dirt, grit?
Great question. The answer to that is yes. You can build anything anywhere if you're willing to pay for it. Now, some land has bedrock. Some land that are in mountainous areas, you literally have to drill through rock, believe it or not. So that terrain is very tough to deal with. Now, can you have a pool there? Absolutely. Is it going to cost you more money? Absolutely. So you really can build a pool anywhere. There are some restrictions and limitations, though. If you live in an HOA, a community that has a homeowners association, sometimes you are restricted in the size of the pool that you can build, and sometimes you're even limited if you can build a pool or not. So if you're buying a house and you want a pool, this is another great thing to look for in the HOA documents and the bylaws is, can you have a pool? And if you can have a pool, are there any restrictions or limitations to that pool? If you're already in an HOA and you see someone else in the neighborhood or other people in the neighborhood with a pool, 9 times out of 10, you're able to have a pool as well. But also, again, there are guidelines and bylaws covenants that you must adhere to in putting a pool in your backyard. Even sometimes the color of the fence and the type of fence or gate that you can have in your home in an HOA. There are very strict rules and regulations in regards to that. So just make sure that you're in compliance, because you don't want to be in a situation where you can't enjoy your home and make your home a home by adding the things like a swimming pool to make sure that home is home.
All right, so moving to decks and patios. How does a homeowner assess whether they need a new one or just a fresh paint?
First thing you want to do is look for, if you have a pressure treated deck, you want to look for anything that shows any signs of dry rot or anything that shows signs of extreme splinting. What do I mean? Like if you have a pressure treated deck, and we have 2 types of decks, pressure treated deck, composite decks. Compression decks are the least expensive of the 2 and the ugliest of the 2 in my professional opinion. I mean, it's just, wood that looks green because it's treated with this chemical to make it sustain and just last throughout, extreme weathers and temperatures. However, over time, you have to maintain pressure treated decks. You have to stain them probably every 3 years minimum. Some people would say every 2 years. You also have to make sure that when they're installed, the bolts are not over drilled, which I see a lot when pressure treated decks are. And what do I mean by that? The bolt is so driven into the wood that it actually drives through the wood beyond the surface, and that can cause a problem in the future. Composite decks, on the other hand, we use a lot of Trex is the company that we use, and it's beautiful. It has PVC covering. It has, very beautiful balusters that you can purchase that have different styles to them. They have it's a nicer deck. So if you look up a composite deck versus a pressure treated deck, you immediately see what I'm talking about and notice the difference. So look for those, if you see big running splints in the wood, that's a problem. If you see your pressure treated deck wood starting to curve and twist, that's a problem. If you see any indication of really old pressure treated decks, we've seen dry rot at the time, especially if they're not stained, especially if they're not waterproof over time. Those decks really break down. So you can do a visual inspection. If you see your deck leaning away from the house where it's no longer, level, that's a problem. So all of these quick visual inspections could help you determine whether or not your deck needs some attention in terms of repair, in terms of replacement, or in terms of just, some areas being restored.
Okay, awesome. So for those who are looking to get started, do you do free consultations, or how does that work if you're looking to get started?
If you're looking to get started, absolutely. We do complimentary consultations. I don't like that word free, because in this business, professionals' time. That's a very important thing. So we do complimentary consultations virtually. And what our clients will do, they'll just either go to our website, www.tebowresidential.com. They'll call me directly or they'll call our office staff and they'll schedule a virtual call, complimentary. We also do in-person site visits all the way from here to California. We've had a client fly us out to California in terms of consulting them on getting ready to build their new build project, which was a really cool thing. So those consultations vary based on the project and based on the project size. And we let our clients know that when we had that initial phone interview with them. We interview clients to make sure they're a good fit for us and to make sure that we're a good fit for them. And if all goes well, we let them know what that consultation fee is. They agree, and we show up on time, ready to make sure that they get up to having an elite experience with our organization. That's our mantra, making sure that every client has an elite experience.
Awesome. So that's some amazing information. But before we leave, do you have any words of wisdom for us?
Words of wisdom. Shoot many shots in life, because the shot not taken will always be the shot that never gave you a chance. I don't know why that's on my heart and mind tonight. Shoot many shots in life. Shoot that shot. Because eventually you're going to get into a rhythm. Eventually you're going to hit that goal. Goal being the euphemism here. But yeah, shoot that shot. Because the shot not taken is a shot that could be the shot of the missed opportunity. The more shots you shoot, the more opportunities you have to hit your goal. Be fearless. Never be afraid. Embrace failure as a part of just getting to success quicker. And shoot those shots. So that being said and done, I see you at the next construction site, and I want to know how many shots you've shot in life and how many goals you've hit, being fearless in shooting those shots so that you can have the success and all that you desire in life through God that strengthens us all the time, every time. And with that being said and done, I see you at the next construction site.